Good morning, and welcome to Dualitea. I'm your host, Akasha, and I'm here with Yashanti and Party's Over. Welcome. Hey. Thank you so much for pulling up, and thank you so much for being with the shits last minute. You know,
thank you for having us.
I really posted. I was kind of thinking about and reflecting on a few different things, and I posted on my story, and I was like, yo, I want to talk about. Well, actually what happened was Doja Cat had a post, and I'm still feeling a little I don't know how I feel about her, but she spit some shit in this one song, in this one scene on a clip on a reel on Instagram, and I was just like,
what'd she say?
Right. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because it's too much. I don't know what track it is, but I'll show you guys the reel. It's something that it's because it's funny, because it's high key toxic, but it's true, but it's really true, and it's exactly what I was experiencing last month. So it's when that came up, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to have the conversation about breakups. I personally just got out of a breakup last month. So I was just I think it's time for, not to share personally about that one, but just in general, all encompassing breakups. So I had posted on my IG, and y'all were like,
oh, you all right?
Yo, I feel great, actually. That's the thing, is there's some breakups where it's yo, hey, you just know, you know what I mean? You just know, and it's just brewing. And then by the time you get out of it, you're just kind of yeah, I'm free now. I need to be out of this. This isn't, and of course, you have experiences where you can be it's not I didn't cry. It's not I didn't get upset. It kind of blew up in flames. I had broken up with this person, but we also lived together. So it was at 4 days after we broke up, there was a few different things that had happened. So it was just it got chaotic. It didn't have to be, but it did, I guess, in a way, for it to really disperse. But shortly after that, I had plans prior for a year to do a ceremony for myself. So it was the perfect timing. So I really got to integrate and sit with myself, because it was a prayer which entailed me to literally be alone without anything, a fast for 4.5 days, 5 nights, completely away from everyone. So if anything was, the timing was right, it was that time for me. But thank y'all for seeing that post and being you know what, I want to talk about that topic too.
What when you went through that, when you did your 4-day detox, so to speak, by yourself, the question that comes in my mind is there a blame game? Are you pointing the finger at you is why, or are you digging into yourself? Is it me? What's the?
Thank you for that question.
Who?
During that time, it was in the past, I've done a lot more of the blame game when I really didn't understand why I was attracting things I was attracting. More with this person was it was the last piece of this cycle that I really watched dissipate, and it wasn't really anything about them. I wasn't having resentment or harboring anything towards them. It was more why, not only within myself, but within my ancestral lineage, within the cycles before me, within my parents' relationship, and all of these different cycles, or where is this cycle coming from? Right. That's what I was looking at. Not really. I wasn't even really thinking about that person.
So more your behavior growing up and stuff, and how it affected you now.
Exactly.
That happens. Yeah, I've been there before.
Because it's after a breakup, it's when you're sitting there with yourself and you're thinking about. I feel every time I break up with somebody, I always think about all of my exes. So I start making a chart in my head. Okay, so what changed? What did we learn? Where are we at now with this cycle?
Right.
Right. And with this person, I was just wow, I got to really, even thank this person energetically, because I got such a clarity in where I'm at with that cycle, and I got the opportunity to also close it out without just subconsciously continuing it, because it's obviously when we become aware of a cycle, we want to break it, but sometimes we just subconsciously continue. We don't even realize oh wow, I really like it when someone's possessive over me because it makes me feel wanted. And that's like the subconscious thing. And that's also something that's societally like glorified or whatever it is. Whatever. We all have our toxic love languages.
Hey.
You know?
Right.
But
I've seen it not too long ago, to be honest.
it be like that. There's a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, that possessiveness doesn't necessarily, like, that entitlement, it doesn't give you that confidence that everything's going to be okay. It's just, that should be, like, the first step to know that everything's about to go south. Like, once somebody tries to possess you instead of themselves, they're already, you know, they let go of themselves a long time ago once they did that. Once they, talking about, like, I don't know, man, they just start doing stuff trying to claim you, you know, as opposed to just being yourself. And then you come out of character, and then everything goes to, it's okay to curse here?
Yeah, it's okay.
Everything goes to shits, man. Bro.
Like, what do you mean? Like, as an example, like, okay, in the beginning of the relationship, you know, y'all talking, y'all staying in contact with one another.
You know, yeah.
What's your day? Like, you want them to be on you like that, but then when it's like official and they're more on you, now it's becoming possessive. Like,
that's the thing, though.
Now it's too much attention, or it's like.
I think the signs are like they come early.
Right.
So once you start talking, they start doing things like nice things. You expect that though, right?
Right.
And then as the relationships, you know, grow or whatever.
Well, after 2 years, that's the breaking point, like, of really.
Not 2 years. I'd say 6 months. I
2.5.
give it like a
I
job,
just
you know, the
read
first 6
something.
months.
Like, it's like, you know how the algorithms are, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, mad shit's been coming up about breakups. So it was like, if you, it's like, you know what someone is not going to keep pretending after the third month. After the third
Definitely
month,
not.
you start really seeing what they're, and you do see that. You do see that.
And
but
from
now,
3 to 6, if they don't.
3 to 6 is crucial in a
Yeah,
relationship.
for
3 to
real.
6 makes and breaks a relationship. It's like, am I going to accept the person I'm seeing, or am I going to disassociate from the person I'm seeing and project what I'd like them to be by amplifying their, what is the word?
Audacity.
Potential. Potential. Like amplifying their potential.
Right.
Because I feel like we're all guilty of that. We look at people and we're like, oh, wow, I see the good in you.
Right.
Let me just look away from the bad, or let me just project the fact that you're working on something that maybe you're not ready to work on. Like, we don't get to decide when someone's ready to, you know, unpack their trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even like when, let's say this guy meets a girl, right? And then obviously when they first met, she was looking nice in her little outfit or whatever. Then after some time, he doesn't want to see her dressed like that no more. That's like,
You changing the person.
it's a conflict of interest. It's like, bro, what? First of all, you liked me like this when we first met. Now you're talking like you don't want to see me.
No other eyes.
And now
Yeah.
you're trying to change me. You're trying to control
Yeah,
me. You're
like-
trying to shut things down because of your own insecurities.
Exactly.
And that's where things
That's
get
the
like.
that's the problem these days, is that everyone just inflicts their insecurities onto people, and it hurts everybody involved. Not even like just those two people, but even their friends and everyone around them that loves them, because they start noticing the change. But there's not much they can really do about it.
This is why therapy is important. This is why, it's so important that I feel we have somebody, and also like looking for a therapist that you resonate with, or even that you might get triggered by low key a little bit, but like healthy amounts. And so that you can talk to someone who completely doesn't know you, and you can be like, yo, I'm not worried about being judged. Like, who is this person? I don't even care. Like,
Right,
that I was like,
right.
you know, I'm going to just tell them, like, yo, this is how I really feel. Like, I really feel like, you know, I'm better than this, or I can do that. And you can let your ego out so that you could understand why it exists. And I feel like there's so many people out here that are just traumatized and are traumatizing other people. It's like, you have to ask yourself, you know, we all have trauma, and it all comes in different flavors and looks, and however whether we internalize it or externalize it, it exists. Now, how are you perpetuating the trauma that was done onto you? And once you become aware of that, you can stop it. But if you pretend like I don't traumatize people or I don't
Like, it's not
inflict
me, it's
harm.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's no accountability, and then that's like
Keyword, accountability.
Audacity.
Audacity.
we got A words.
A words. For real. I mean, and that's the thing with being in denial, like just not owning your shit.
That's the worst.
Own your shit. Like if you're wrong, ask
Be
yourself,
wrong,
like,
yeah,
just live in it. Like, okay, I was wrong. Like, how do I take a step back and reapproach the situation? And you know, I mean, no one's perfect.
That's the thing too. Like these days, nobody really gives each other space in times like that. Once they start fighting, the fighting gets tough, and then nobody really has room to breathe and think about what's really going on right now. And
no
really,
one hears each other. You know,
yeah, and even when there's that one person that's always trying to leave, not necessarily like break up, but just leave the situation at hand. That other person takes it in offense. It's like, oh nah, come back.
Pressing.
There's like these archetypes or kind of titles that I've been seeing also, because once again, algorithm, right? You know, and it's called like anxious type and avoidant type of in a relationship. So like there's the anxious type that's like, don't leave. Like if you leave, it triggers my abandonment issues. So like even though they don't realize that in the moment, it's a survival thing. So like if they have any abandonment issues in their life, like that when someone's leaving, it doesn't matter if they're going to walk around the block. If that's not verbally stated, or even if it is, like, and it's just in the heat of an argument, that person literally feels like it's survival. So they're like, oh my God. And then the avoidant partner is like, yo, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, I just can't. Like, you know, like, I need to go. Like, I need to be away from this, because that person might have had a trauma that the only way that they would be safe or retreat to safety is if they stepped away from something. So it's like, I feel like it's really important for us, even in these heat of moments, to do our best, even in reflection, rather than the blame game or the victimizing or the villainizing, to really just come from a non-judgmental space where we could be like, yo, that person was literally doing the best they could, and I was doing the best I could. No shame. And to just be able to like also forgive ourselves where we did feel ashamed of the way that we behaved because of our reactions. And then come to a space of being like, yo, like, just because I have compassion, I understand that, you know, they did the best they could, doesn't mean that I need to stay with them though. Like, I don't have to be here.
Exactly.
You can still have compassion. Like, that's the thing.
You can still love them. You can still love them, but just from a distance.
Exactly.
Respectfully.
And that's like, that's the thing that with breakups that I feel like it doesn't always have to be such a fucking mess. Like,
toxic.
It doesn't have to be chaotic. Like,
and
some
these days,
people
it's like a
need
trend
it,
too.
like,
It's like everybody wants to be toxic.
Well, I mean, look at what we grew up. Look at what we grew up watching. Look at the reality show TVs. Look at the music we listen to. Look at all of the things that go on in the society we live in, and also in what we grew up in. Right? So it's like that was glorified. Think about any love song that you've liked growing up, you know, or song in general, like how toxic it is when you actually unpack it. And you're just like, I was singing this as like a mantra. Anything you sing over and over and over again, you start to believe. Anything you say over and over and over again, you start to believe. So it's like we have not unintentionally taught ourselves these things because it was taught to us through the grapevine. Also, like, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I didn't personally see a functional relationship until like probably like 3 years ago. Like, and in that way, like, that also is very much so ingrained, you know? So it's like, what relationship?
I said you got two on me.
As far as
like in general, like anybody, like it's like, because like you could see people that can seemingly have a okay relationship, but then like you know and you feel. And, like, especially when it's people around you that you know, and you know that they're going through struggles, and that, you know, maybe it might be better if they're not. But either way, you don't want to meddle, and it's not your business. But, like, you have an awareness that it's not healthy, right? I haven't actually seen healthy and functional relationship. They were like a unicorn. I didn't know they actually existed. Two people could actually be healthy and functional and grow together and have accountability.
It's possible.
Like, to have accountability, and I seen that a few years back. I'm like exaggerating. I think probably like 5-6 years ago. And I was just like, and I said to my friend, I was like, because it's my friend, shout out to my friend Zuri and Joey. Like, literally, like, they were one of the first people around my age that I was like, holy like, y'all really it. Like,
Yeah.
I am so happy to
Power
know you guys
couple, right?
exist.
Like, okay,
They did the
y'all out
damn
here
thing.
doing it,
OD,
right.
like, for real. So, yeah.
Tough.
It's
tough.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
It's work. You know, you have to, and it's really built on communication and that
Oh
transparency.
God.
And
From the
comprehension.
beginning.
Comprehension.
Right, just because I communicate to you doesn't mean you fully understood or can grasp where
Yeah,
I'm
what
coming
everything's
from.
being said. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
becomes a lot.
That happened to me. Not gonna lie. The other day, it was something about because for me, it has more to do with body language as opposed to what's actually being said. Because I'm hearing it, but it's just like, you know, to me, it's like actions speak louder than words. So I'm watching you, and just like it's not adding up. You know what you're saying is just, it's like you talking like with an attitude, but it's not like you're giving, like, your body's giving me attitude. You know what I mean? But then you're asking me to listen to you, and it's just like, wait a minute. But now I feel like your body's giving me an attitude, and now, but you're trying to tell me to listen calmly. Like, I'm like, yo, what's going on really? But then I'm just like sitting there, and I'm just thinking like, maybe the best thing to do is just hear you out, you know, and take that into consideration as opposed to just brushing it off and try to like look and, well, you know, judge with my eyes and whatever. But
Okay, divine masculine. Thank you for showing up. Like, for real. Like, that's important, you know, and it's something that I feel like it goes both ways, because every human being, whatever gender you identify with or whatever place in your relationship that you are, we all have masculine and feminine within ourselves. That could also be correlated with positive, negative. That could also be correlated with yin and yang, whatever you want to call it, whatever feels good for you. But, you know, a woman is still capable of being toxic masculine. You know what I'm saying? So when I say divine masculine, I'm not only saying that because you're a man identifying as a man. Like, it's because that part of yourself was like, that could have, you know, you're like, okay, let me actually tune in, be accountable, listen. Even though I might not want to at first, I know that's what's
you read
right.
the room.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that's what's best, not only for me, but for my partner, because I care.
Yeah.
And it's not about like being flighty. It's about like being dedicated, because, you know, nothing good comes easy.
Exactly.
Right.
Nothing good comes easy. And if you can get it easy, then
It's just
it's
not
probably
worth it.
not good. Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
For
I
real.
learned the hard way.
Don't we all, though?
Yeah,
you know?
right?
That's the beauty of it, right? And you fall on your face, and then you can just get up and figure out how you fell on your face, and maybe watch that step before you walk again, and
Yeah, instead of looking up all the time, now look down. Just
Right.
watch your step.
watch your step. So
That's, yeah.
What do you feel like is one of the biggest things that you know, like, okay, like, this is a red flag, like, I need to go? Like, not even red flags. Was that a point, like, by the time you get to the point that you need to break up, we've already gaslit ourselves past the red
you thinking what
flags.
I'm thinking?
We go to Six Flags. We
Yeah,
like,
right.
okay, we riding all the rides. How do you know when it's time to go home back to yourself?
Bro, as soon as a woman assumes she can, like, man up, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean? I don't want to say like a
I don't know
woman
what
can
you
be
mean.
a strong woman, but when she starts like trying to think like, you know, I'm a woman, I could hit him, he's not gonna do anything. Cause
Oh,
I'm
on like
woman.
a physical level.
Yeah, like-
yeah.
Putting your hands on your partner, like that. Just, if you're not gonna do it lovingly, don't do it at all. Like, just don't do it. You're just asking for it at that point. And then, yeah, that's my red flag. That's it. Like, as soon as you just raise your hand, it's like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's, boy.
where we going again? Like, what was the final straw?
Yeah, what is like, yo,
know.
I need to, I am so far from myself.
Right. Okay.
What is it that is like, okay, the realizing point, like, I need to go back to me. Like, this is not even.
Okay. This is so funny. It's like a snowball effect, actually. It's not like just one thing. It's like over time,
Gross.
you know, you just, how do I word this? You start to become annoyed. There's a lot of annoyed frustration. Yeah, it's like you're repeating yourself on things that you've already expressed with your partner, and they're not receiving it, and then when you touch on it, then you
after
feel
so
like
many times.
you're nagging. Like, you said that already. That's like, yeah, I said
I
it.
told you how many times already.
I said it, but you still not.
It's
following
frustrating.
through.
I know what you mean.
Like when party, I'm gonna call you Party. What is it? Hey. Party said, it's not what you say, it's what you do. I agree with that, because it's like, you know, if you really genuinely care about this person, you're gonna make sure that what you do makes them smile, makes them happy, gives them peace. And when you start to realize you're not at peace and you just don't feel like yourself anymore, you're not even smiling the same, everything they do just becomes annoying. The way they laugh, the way they breathe, the way they chew, the way they, it just is like, how did we get here? It's like surreal.
Why are you blinking?
Why are you blinking?
Why would you ever blink like that? I don't understand.
Oh my goodness. That's when you know it's time to just take a step back and just really dig into yourself again, because from where you I'm just can't even get the words out. From the beginning to the end, you look at who you are and it just doesn't resonate for you. You have to make some changes. You have to make some changes. And when you express these things to your partner and they're giving the blame game, like, oh, well, you do. It's not all just me. It's at that point, it's like,
ain't nobody listening.
No one's listening.
Yeah, no one's listening. And instead of saying, yo, what can we do? Like, how do we genuinely work at this? I've tried. Like, I feel like I've given it my all. Like, pulled out a notebook and pens. Like, let's write our pros and our cons.
Bro,
like,
that's happened to me before. I ain't do it, but they did it to me.
Yeah, no.
Right, the females did it.
Yeah, no.
She wrote out a whole book of mean things I've said. I'm like, yo,
like,
come on,
really,
bro. You really wrote this
out.
down? Like, this is what you gonna pay mind to? What about all the nice things? Like,
you know, so I've never written it down, but I've just paused when someone was talking to me really nasty, and I've been like, listen to yourself. Just listen to yourself. Hold on. Just listen to yourself. Go ahead. Go in the mirror and say that to yourself. Tell me how it makes you feel. That's only I haven't written it down.
And on that note, some of the things that come out their mouth, or there's just the exchange of words, is so nasty. It's just so like, well, how did you even get to saying that? And then it makes me want to put hands on you, like just rip your lips off your face. Like,
that's crazy.
Although you know you shouldn't be putting your hands on them, but it's like, you're provoking me with your words.
You feel so disrespected. Like, you feel so disrespected that you're, like, it depends on, every person's different, because some people are fight or flight, you know? And for me personally, like, even in a recent situation, like, I have never felt more, like, someone hasn't tried to hurt me the way a person tried to hurt me, because they were hurting.
Right.
Naturally. But for the amount of prolonged time, it was like 9 hours straight of just verbal abuse. And it's like, at a certain point,
9
like,
hours?
I'm a human. The person was packing up to leave. So I'm just like walking away. I'm getting distant. Like, okay, just pack up, just get yourself, you know. But it was so, like, back to back to back to back. I had to pause myself, because, like, I really, like, I never put my hands on, you know, I haven't put my hands on anybody in a very long time. I'm not gonna say I never did. I haven't put my hands on anybody in a very long time. But it triggered me, because, like, all of the things that were being said at me, about me, I was like, all right, whatever, that's just a projection, like, it's really not that serious. But it was just the effort that someone was taking. What made me snap was when he was calling me out of my name. Like,
that's annoying,
that was the thing. Like, once that he was like, okay, oh, nobody likes you, this and that, you know, whatever the case was said. I'm not even gonna repeat it, because it doesn't even need the space. But like I appreciate y'all. Right? Like, whatever it was just like, it was a lot of things, and it got, like, really, like, thank God I know who I am, and I know what I stand for, that it just kept bouncing off me. But the second or the third stupid bitch that came out of his mouth, I picked up a stick, and I was just like, nah, put it down, chill, breathe, go in the other room, and it got to that point, because it's like, it's like the person who's hurt is trying to provoke any kind of emotion, whether good or bad or whatever it is at that point, because they want any emotion to feel validated in existing, really. Like that it's a problem or it's hurting. They're so hurt they want to hurt you. So it's like, rather than looking at this person and being like, yo, wow, like, you're such a piece of shit, like, I hate you for what you did, I'm more like, yo, I felt so bad that you felt so bad about yourself that you felt you needed to do that, you know? And it's like,
to you, like,
yeah, and like in that moment you don't think that. In that moment you're like literal defense, like,
yeah, I mean,
like,
you gotta be watching out.
Yeah,
this man could like flip any minute, like,
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I get you. That, yo, that's crazy.
Damn.
The fact that it went on for 9 hours, that's a shift in an extra
But
hour,
in,
bro.
in that, and you listening to what they're saying, it's like, you really felt like that? Like, but
That's
just
the
a
thing,
few
though.
days
People don't
ago-
really feel like that.
it.
You know
It's
that
like
hurt.
you felt like that, but you didn't. Like, you felt like that, but you didn't. It's like, you know that was their projections, but at the same token, like, you still have it in your mind that you were ready. You had bullets.
And not even
ready.
that. You're still
like,
going. Like, it's,
yeah, like, just letting it off. Just like,
how many times you gonna say that? Like, you can only say that so many times.
Right.
But he like, nah. But yo, that's insane. I'm trying to wrap my head around 9 hours.
it's just like, you know, it was what it was. It's hurt people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's why I
exactly.
do my best as a hurt person to heal. You know, and healed people and healing people, rather, because no one's ever healed. But healing people help inspired healing people or people to heal. So it's like, rather than fixating on like, oh, okay, this is what this breakup was. Like, I looked at it like, yo, like, I remember my mother saying something to me, and her saying literally recently in something that she had gotten out of, how almost something exactly the same happened to her. And I'm just like, yo, the ancestral trauma is real.
Right.
Like, the cycles are real. And why am I becoming aware of it? Because I'm the one to break this. And my mother is also breaking it at the same time. And it's like, I'm very proud of my mother to be able to not only break the cycle, but her breaking it as I'm breaking it. And just like to see what that's like. It's like literally reconstructing your own DNA. So rather than looking at it like, oh my God, like, I can't believe how traumatizing it was. Like, yeah, it was, but I'm also talking about it in therapy. I'm also talking about it with myself. I'm also praying about it, and I get through. Like, I had such a serious prayer after that. It helped me not only see that, how it got there, and all the red flags I ignored for it to get there, but all of the relationships prior to that just being different versions of that same kind of abuse. And like, why did I feel like I deserved it? You know, and then that other person too was also getting some kind of abuse, because I have to take accountability for myself. When I get crazy, I get crazy. Like, I don't go below the belt, but I'll just tell you the raw truth without compassion. And that's not nice
that's
either.
a fact.
Because when you tell people raw truth without compassion, that could hurt them more than that could ever help them.
Right.
It needs to be delivered both. Okay, here's the truth. Are you consensually? You ready for the truth? Okay, that's one thing. Now, let me deliver it with compassion, or else you're not really trying to do it for them. You're just trying to prove a point. And at that
but
point, that's coming
sometimes
from your ego.
you think about it. Sometimes that gets in the way too. When you do it with compassion, they think of it as a what's it called? Like one of those slips that they think like, oh, it's like a free pass, or like, oh, I can do it again and it's gonna be all right, because they were so nice about it.
It depends,
And it's
you
just
know.
like,
But even
bro,
if somebody feels
you can only
like
tell
that,
somebody
then
so many times before it gets frustrating.
But even if that's the case, then they're showing you their colors anyway.
Yeah, that's
you know
true,
what I'm
that's true.
saying? Because then, like, we can't be raising people.
Exactly.
We can't be raising our partners.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already.
I mean, trying to grow
reparenting
together,
ourselves.
but that's
grow
individually, yeah.
and then choosing to collectively be with each
Exactly.
other. Like, you're not the source of my happiness. I'm not the source of your
Exactly.
happiness. I'm happy. You're happy. We want to be happy together.
Let's celebrate.
Exactly. Let's celebrate the fact that I'm doing the work, that you're doing work. It could look separate. It could be different. And then we could come together but it's not a crutch. It's not a void filler.
Right.
But so many of these relationships are void fillers. And once again, it's not to feel guilty about that. It's to identify. If you feel like you're in a relationship that's a void filler, yo, you survived your whole life up until this point, and that's a part of your survival. Yeah. And when you're ready, if you're ever ready, be easy and be gentle, because it's hard to uproot your life. Some people got kids with people. Some people have like long-term like family ties, or like live with businesses, all these different things with these partners that they know that they maybe should not be with. And when you have that realization, putting the action into and actually breaking up is one of the most courageous and
fulfilling, really.
Freeing.
But this is why I went back to those 3 words, like strength, confidence, and freedom, because it takes a certain type of person to face reality and say, you know what, I've spent all this time trying to make it work. Like, should I just stick with it because of the time, or, you know, just let it, the course
time,
is run?
that's the thing, yo, bro. Time goes on, bro. So that my suggestion to that comment right there was just like, just let it go. If it has to do with time, don't stay because of time.
Right, and to piggyback off Akasha's comment when she like started to see the pattern, like the cycle, there's a level of power for me in that, because now you have the power and the vision and the strength to just stop the bullshit. Like, the smoke has now settled, and now it's like, you know what, I need to move forward. Like, you're blocking your blessings, you're blocking everything that's to come for you, to deal with this one situation that in all is just showing you where you lack or where you don't, and
bringing you down.
Yeah, it's just not healthy. And then it takes a certain person to say, you know what, this person may be better off without me too.
Exactly. Honestly,
you know,
in that position, both parties are better off without each other.
Without a doubt.
But I wouldn't want to lose, because then you always feel like you lost a friend. Like, oh, we should have never took it to that next level.
But think about all the memories that you could take along the way, as opposed to making things worse and then leaving it at that. And one ends up hurt, or both end up hurt, probably dead if it goes too far. Think about it. Just leave right then and there. Take those memories and just.
But I try not to burn bridges. That's the thing. Like, I mean, some bridges, I guess you have to.
I love burning bridges. I ain't even gonna lie.
You just never know when you might have to cross over that bridge for anything. I mean, just on a business standpoint, maybe they doing something in life successful, and you want to be supportive, and
that's cool and all. I wish them the best, but
I mean, that's gonna lead to a podcast that I'm gonna have soon. Actually, it's like, can you be friends with your ex? That's gonna
because then that really shows you if you're mad, like you're really still mad about something that you should have let go.
It's not everybody. Not everyone. It's not every case. For damn sure. Like, I know that for a fact.
I just don't like the toxicity, you know? So that's why I burn bridges. It's just like, bro, once I sense a little bit of toxicity. Point, then it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have a direct understanding, like, yo, listen, like, we're not good for each other, and you can actually back out of a relationship. Like, there's been a few relationships where we've genuinely been like, I've had a conversation, and they've been emotionally mature enough to be like, okay, yeah, you know what, you're right. And then we kind of like, it takes consent, though.
And it takes both of you guys both being mature and both just being honest with yourself. Like, you could lie to everybody, but if you lie to yourself, it's only a matter of time before that burns and simmers. And the anger that we feel from our exes, or that our exes feel from us, is not even the anger at them. It's the anger at denying our own intuition and denying the truth. That's what we all knew that this shit was gonna end. Right. Now, how long are we gonna lie to ourselves? So it's more like the anger that's coming from ourselves to ourselves, right? And then being projected onto our partners. As far as like you were saying, talking about like, you know, certain exes, like there's certain exes I have, like I said, I'm gonna have another podcast where I'm gonna actually have one of my exes on the show, and we're gonna talk about it. Right. And you know, crazy. So that's gonna be something that we're gonna do. But just like a sneak clip and like kind of like something that we're gonna talk about is like one of the most important things when you're friends with an ex, you need to not sleep with each other. Period. Like that's really it. Like if you're fucking with your ex, like then that's not your friend. That's a messy situation. Right. And I don't like to be mixy. Like when I'm with somebody, I'm with somebody. Whether that's just how I am, you know. And it's so when I'm hanging out with my ex or talking to my ex on the phone, like say I have a partner and I'm having a conversation, I make sure even before. Like I remember with the last previous relationship I was in, I said I called my ex and I was like, yo, even on an energetic level, because there's always gonna be like a flirtatious energy. There's always gonna be like.
Both of y'all found each other attractive at one point.
Naturally, because you dated. You know, you definitely, more than likely slept with each other.
But how do you move on from that? Like, how do you just get into another relationship with that in play?
You don't pursue it. You have boundaries.
But what about your partner, your new partner? Well,
They
you
should
tell
be
them.
confident.
Well,
They should
They
know
should
where
be.
they
tell
are.
them, and
They
you
should
tell
know.
them. Like, that's anytime, like, I would talk to my ex or whatever the case is, I would answer the phone, but I'm not going to stay on the phone for mad long. But I'm also not going to ignore the phone call because that's sus, right? So I'll be like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, I have the conversation, normal conversation, and then I get off the phone, and then I'll give my partner maybe a little bit even extra affection. And maybe that's coddling, but that's just how I would do it. Like, I balance it out in a certain way where it's like, you have nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, and this is from this point moving forward, and this is something that my ex really did well. My ex really did, as far as like while we were together, really trusted me in all these case scenarios. Like, I would go places, you know, for as far as I knew, unless towards the end when that was apparently questionable. Who knows if that was even real? Mm-hmm. But it very much so, like, every time, and I never experienced that before, where I had a partner that actually trusted me, because I am a person that, you know, I have a podcast, I do different things, I host moon ceremonies, I work a few different jobs, like, I do different things, and I'm out and about at times, and, you know, I could be with other people, but my partner, like, if you're with me, you have to know my loyalty is unquestionable. Like, I'd be in front of anybody in the world that, like, the most attractive person, whatever the case is, could be like, I don't care. Like, my loyalty is uncompromisable. Like, that's because that's to myself. That's to my heart. That's my choice. Like, if I want to be fucking around people, I just won't be with somebody. It's really simple. And that's something that people also need to really take into account when you're getting into a relationship. You could just be single. Like, you shouldn't be able to be over here and, like, just be reaping the benefits of having somebody at home and then being out here fucking around and just doing whatever at any point of your life. Like, it's just not. That's not fair. You know, that's not fair. And it's not, even if you're not fucking anybody, if you're emotionally cheating, that's still not fair.
But
not
think
okay.
about this now. Like, what if, that's cool and all, and, you know, it's nice to have.
What's the space you got on? Go ahead.
Let's face reality. Like, what if it was the other way around?
What do you mean?
You know,
If
your
my
man
partner,
has his ex calling him and shit.
I've experienced that before. But I've experienced that before, and I've experienced it in two ways. So I've experienced it where my ex was trifling, and that was the situation, and I felt it, but I denied my intuition because I was made to be crazy. No, you're insecure. You're insecure. No, that's not even my ex. That's just my friend. No, this, that, and the third. No. And I'm like, I don't know. I have a feeling, but, like, I don't want to seem insecure. I've had that version. I've had the version after where I was insecure about something and there was nothing. Right? And then I've also had the situation where I was secure and it was nothing. And it was just like, because at the end of the day, if I'm not going to stop anybody from doing what they want to do. I've learned that lesson. Yeah, like, people are going to want to do what they want to do. If you want to be friends with your ex,
you let them be themselves, because the last thing you want to do is be controlling, right?
Be controlling, and also it's just a lie. Like, because it's just not going to last. You can be controlling on somebody and then they're going to go and do some shit. That's why you hear about people that are, like, dead ass, like, married, have kids for years, and then they be living a double fucking life because the person is controlling, and they're trying to find an escape, and they don't want to leave because they want to reap the benefits.
Like, you tell a kid not to do something, they gonna do it.
If they really want to do it, they're gonna do it when you turn around.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, with that, like, when I was in that situation, I had to just look at my partner and be like, yo, do I really trust you? And if I don't, why would I be with you? I don't look through people's phones. If I feel I need to look through your phone, we're breaking up. Period.
Yo, bruh.
Like,
bruh.
I knew the password on you know.
I don't even have a lock on my phone.
But yeah, it was
that
like, I need to use something, go on your calculator, it's just open, whatever. But that's a level of trust there. You gotta have that. If you don't have it, then what are we doing?
Then you can't be, like, cause, like, at the end of the day, even if you're not friends with your ex, say you have a really hot friend, and you know they're hot, they know they're hot, but you're not attracted to them that way, or you didn't pursue them, or you guys never fucked around, like,
it's just
that's still gonna be insecure. That's still gonna trigger insecurities in your partner. So what, are you not gonna be friends with somebody who's attractive?
Nah, I mean,
all my friends are attractive.
That's what I said. I'm like, hey man, I can't be around no ugly folks.
Like, that ass, like,
they gonna hit me with that ugly shit.
That's mean, but, like, I mean, that ass in the sense of, like, all my friends really are attractive, inside and out. Like, I really only surround myself with incredible people that, you know. So it's like, if someone's going to be triggered or insecure, like, that's gonna happen no matter what. But if you trust my word, if you trust your word, if you know your worth and you understand my worth, like, we're gonna just understand that that's where it's at. Like, but it's taken a long time to get there.
Nah, of
you
course.
know, it's not like I was always this way. Like I struggled with my own worthiness. Still this day struggle at times with my own worthiness, where I have to constantly remind myself of that. Where, you know, I can come to this point of integration of what happened?
No, I seen something.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were telling me something. That it took a while to get here, but also, like, I'm so happy to be here because it's so freeing. Because when you're, like, in that state of constant, like, worry,
Right.
you're just stressed out. You're just, like, you know? And it's, like...
Why not just be by yourself? For all that, I wouldn't give myself all these headaches, all these worries, all this second guessing. What am I doing? Am I doing it right? Or am I being understanding? Am I being sensitive? It's just a lot to consider with someone else. And
that's the thing, though. I mean, I'm in a relationship now, and I've never been in a relationship like this. Cause there's a reason why I'm still here, right? Yo, these relationships I have been toxic, and I've noticed along the way, and I've left them all like in the same way, like you said, like you notice the constant like algorithm, I guess. But yeah, every time it got to like that one point, I was just like, I'm out of here. Like I don't really care what happens to you next. Like not in the sense like, oh, I don't care about you, but like I don't care whether you go fuck somebody else or like whatever you have to do, just don't include me. I don't want to be involved. And I just let it go. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm so quick to burn bridges. It's because of those relationships, though, that once I notice something, I'm quick to leave. Not because of, like, I'm scared or anything. It's just that I know better. It's like, I know this is going nowhere, and if anything, we're going to end up hurting each other. And I'm going to hurt you even more just for the fact that you tried it. You know what I mean? Like, don't come over here. Don't come with that bullshit. But, not for nothing, peace over anything. I choose peace over anything. Like if it's not bringing any peace, you gotta go. Like that's just it. Even if you like raise your voice a little bit, and I notice the slightest little tune, like I'm just like, come on, bro, you're doing too much. Like just talk to me, man. Like there's nothing like the same words you said, like you could have used it in a different tone, and everything. Though it could have turned out different.
Right, it's
your
delivery. It's how you speak. Some people don't even
It's
know.
the way you say it. It's not what you say.
It's how you say it.
Yep.
Right.
Like all that energy. Why you use all that energy? Now you're like worn out. It's like Super Saiyan type shit. Like you're screaming for no reason, bro.
Their passion. That could be their passion.
It could be.
And you know, and also like everyone has different triggers. Like I've been that person that's been the most. So like I understand the person that's the most. I've been the person that, you know, my partner, usually when it's a male, is like, yo, you're being the most right now. You're really doing too much. And I'm like, am I doing too much, or am I just fucking done with your shit? And I'm trying to convince myself to stay in this relationship, like I'm trying to fight, because if I'm still fighting, I still want to be in the relationship.
Yeah.
If I'm not fighting anymore, that's when I'm fucking done.
Right.
That's when I'm done. When I get to a certain point, and few of my exes can attest to this, is like I just don't speak to them anymore. Like it's like, once I hit a certain point of like, I'm done with this person, you don't even have access to me. You won't even be able to hear my voice unless it's my voicemail. Like that, I get like...
That's crazy, because I don't think any of my exes have my phone number.
Oh, you changed it? You changed your number?
I just don't keep contact with them. Like, what's the point,
So,
bro?
I mean,
like,
but how do you know if they have yours then? You must have changed your number.
I mean, I got a different number, that's for sure. But
I
don't know if they got it, because I never gave it
but
to them.
But it's the access. It's the accessibility, you know? And it's like the blocking, unblocking, all that stuff, you know? It's just...
I don't even block. I don't know what's going on in their lives. Like, I blocked one because she came up out of nowhere through another page, like a fake page. I was
That's a lot of energy.
Yo, I hate that, bro. How you do that to somebody, bro? I think I'm talking to somebody else.
That's crazy.
Out of nowhere, it's just like, oh, it's my ex. Like, oh, nah.
Like, I mean, if I've ever been like, which another podcast episode that I'm going to do is going to be like the crazy ex.
Right.
Like, right? So if it's one thing, like I feel like we've all in our own ways been the crazy ex or the crazy ex at some point, right? Now,
but we were probably the crazy ex during the relationship. So we were like the crazy boyfriend or girlfriend.
whatever the case is, you know. But and for me, like when anytime I've reached out to an ex, like I've never made a fake page. I'm on my dead. You know, it's me. It's like I'm right here in your face with me being me. Like, what's up?
Exactly.
like probably oversharing.
Bro,
with
my
anxiety,
situation.
but,
They had a quote page. You know, like one of those quotes pages.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And every time I post quotes or whatever, like they'll like it or whatever. And then I know, I make conversation with this person eventually. Then I found out that's my ex the whole time. Bro, it's been like 4 years now. I'm like, yo, this whole time you've been stalking me through another page. And now I just feel like, yo, that's why I don't post anything of my private life in social media. Like my daughter, none of that. Like, you're not about to have access to none of that. Now it's just strictly music or whatever I'm doing business, at the time. Yeah, right. That's all you're gonna get. You're gonna get what everybody else gets. So you don't think you're special of some sort of. But everybody who knows my personal life, like, they know who they are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's, man, it's real out here. It's real fake out here.
Well, now with all of that said, because we came across a lot of different topics on a lot of different things. So when it comes to breakups, now with all of that, let's alchemize it, right? Let's bring the positivity into it. What has been like the most important lessons that you've learned from different exes or different relationships? Like, what are some of the lessons you've learned?
You want to take it away?
No, ladies first.
Ladies first? I mean, this is just new beginnings. I'm excited. It's like just the feeling of just starting over and just taking care of self. Because I feel like that is the first law in my book. And in the book of the Bible, everything I know is like self. Like you have to take care of you before you can extend outward to anyone else. So I want to make sure my cup is full. You know, and it's just overflowing. So,
that way, if you need.
I mean, I guess I wanted to ask myself also with breakups, you know, that can be a sad or a happy thing. Mm-hmm. And the sad phase is passed out. I mean, I'm sad that our relationship has ended the way it did, but the happy is we're at peace and we can grow in our own direction. And when they're happy, I'm happy, and it should be vice versa. When I'm happy, you should get a sense of relief, too, that she's smiling different. She's just, you could see the radiance on her, like, wow, be your best person.
Yeah, you gotta be grateful
for
that.
So, that is what keeps me moving and keeps me going. As far as the takeaway, the positive side of things, it's a new start. You know, you just put another seed in the soil and you just start watering it and just nurturing it, and it can be a beautiful thing. Respectfully.
I think what I take away from breakups is that God takes away one thing to make room for another. So as much as I hate to see you go, you know, I love that what's about to come, even though I don't know what it is. The energy alone, I feel like it's gonna resonate with who I am today, or who I am at that time. The same thing with for the other party, cause like you said, like seeing them smile is one thing, but I'll leave the relationship if I feel like she's not happy either. Like if I feel like she's like miserable and shit in the relationship, I'll be like, yo, I think you need to change. Like. Not change like in a sense like yourself, but I think I need to go because I don't want to see you like this anymore. You know, like,
you don't want to be the cause of it either. You know?
I hate to stick around and see you like that. You know, if I can't do anything about it, better you like in any way possible. Like, then I don't really have a purpose here.
Mm-hmm. And it might just be for that season. That's what people don't understand. Like, it could just be for that season. You don't know what the future has in store, how that person might actually grow, how you may grow, and who's to say y'all may have a different understanding, be at that level of where y'all can actually get across to one another. But that takes a level of maturity, you know?
It does. That's the thing, too. You got to know who it is. Like, you got to know who you're committing to, too, at the time.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, anything that is for you will be for you, and that can never change. Not time, not space, not circumstances, not people. Not brujeria, not nothing. Not nothing. Like, nothing is going to stop innately what is going to happen, what is going to come back for you. Right. So it's like, even, you know, it's just about rather than fixating or thinking like, yo, like this is the outcome that I desire or want or need, whether it's to, because if you're saying I will never get back with that person, that's just as intense as saying I will get back with that person, because both of them is force. It's not ease. It's and
Not
when you
natural.
force anything, exactly, when you force, nature does not like force. So when you force, it's pushing something away. When you force something, it's pushing something away. So it's like when you think of magnets, you know what I mean? And it's just like, just in, if for anybody, you know, like a word of advice for anybody that's out there struggling either after a breakup or in a breakup or thinking about breaking up or whatever the case is, and wherever you're at with it, you know, just really tuning in and just knowing that no matter what happens after, if you really have that knowing that that's what you're supposed to do, just trusting yourself and listening to what is next. You know, it's kind of like in you know, like Sonic and a few other video games, there's like that little global that you go to it and then it shows you the next place to go.
Right.
Like
right.
that, it's like that. Like, you know, you just like, you listen to it one step at a time, you know. I mean, you can uproot the whole thing and be the tower card. You can do that. Or you can just be easeful with it and allow yourself to experience grace within your breakup. It doesn't always have to be such a turbulent,
A tragedy.
and yeah, it doesn't have to be. It could be something that, you know, it could be a gift that you both give each other that you both know innately. Because if you feel a resistance, the other person's gonna naturally be feeling that resistance too. So it's like, you know, something that.
But how do you get somebody to understand that's not ready?
Well, you can't make anyone understand, but it doesn't mean that you have to compromise your knowing and your readiness, you know? So it's just a matter of doing it. And it might be messy in the beginning, but then maybe in the future they'll look back and be like, you know what?
Yeah, that's what I think of mostly whenever I'm in that position.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in that position. But, yeah, but damn, bro. It's touching.
Yeah, for real. Something. Go ahead.
This is what I live by, because I'm very spiritual. I mean, I do believe in Jesus Christ, and I just take with me that it's not always your plan. I mean, you have a plan,
Exactly.
desire, but I'm big on Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5.
I love the book of James.
So he says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all of your ways, not some, all of your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. And that could be with anything. Like, even if you acknowledge the universe, or just certain people drop, you know, gems in your ear, or just the company you're surrounded by, that's God for me. Like, God is love, and when you're
Walk by faith and not by sight.
right, and when you
I hear
strongly
you.
believe something, whatever your plan is, you just don't know how you're gonna get there. What obstacles is gonna be in between you getting to your main objective. But like how Party said, like when one door closes, another door opens. You just have to have faith without seeing, without knowing, and just that intuition to feel.
Think about, you know that, I don't know what book it is. I think it's John. You know how John and Matthew and all of them,
Yes,
they say the
four
same story.
Gospels, right.
You know how it says, walk the narrow path and not the wide one, basically.
Okay.
Basically, not the easy path, the one that looks wide and
Free.
yeah, right. But the hard one, that one that looks like you could barely see it and you don't know what's at the end of it.
Dark at the end and everything.
Exactly. That's the one you got to go through, because that's why I like burning bridges, because this is like, this is gonna be hard. Like, I'm ready for this challenge.
I can't burn a bridge because then I feel like I'm mad. Like,
I feel like I'm somewhere right in between both of y'all.
I can't.
I feel like I'm. Do you know your other placements?
I do. Which you, like in the universe?
In the chart.
In the
your
chart?
chart, yeah. Because you're Aries, right?
Right. So my moon is Libra,
Okay, that makes sense.
and
So is mine.
I'm a Pisces.
What
too,
makes sense?
somewhere in there.
Pisces rising, probably.
Right.
Okay.
One of the two.
And you're. Let me see if I remember correctly. Leo, Aquarius, Leo. No, Leo, Leo, Aquarius.
What, I don't know
Your sun, moon, and rising.
My son, yeah, Leo.
Okay.
My
Aquarius, moon.
Capricorn rising.
Capricorn rising. Wow. Okay. But I got two. Right. And you told me that, what, like 3 years ago? We're at bootlegs?
I don't know, but I still got the message.
Okay. I'm gonna give y'all an example. Y'all tell me if I should be mad. right?
Okay,
This
sure.
is real. This is real right here. So I have an ex, right? That we didn't work out well. We was together for, I want to say, about 4 years. For whatever reason, I mean, I'm the type of person I get kind of bored. Like, I like to grow and change and be spontaneous and just not get into a routine. Long story short, we broke up, but now he's dating someone else. The person who he's dating, I know them. Am I supposed to be mad? Am I supposed to be a
How do you
hater?
know that person though?
From school, from high school. We both went to
Were
high
y'all
school
friends
together.
or just
I
went to high
mean,
school?
we were cool, you know. We I don't know if we ever smoked a joint or anything together or like really chilled out, but we had no animosity towards one another. It was all smiles and giggles, no beef. Graduated the same year and everything. We're Facebook friends. We've been Facebook friends while I was in a relationship with him, but now I'm out the relationship with him and.
Yeah, was it immediately after y'all broke up?
No, probably not immediately. I don't know how their relationship, escalated into
Did
a
he go to
real
high school with
relationship. No, that's the thing. He's like a few years older than us, so and we're till this day, like right now, we're still friends on Facebook. And she has a business, he has a business. They both cook, they both cater and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not mad. Like, whatever union that is, whatever y'all have going on, I shouldn't be bitter or be like, have thoughts in my mind. I had thoughts in my mind like, okay, you seen us together. Nothing said to you, I don't want to deal with that situation because I know that person. Not even, like, you know of the person, but you don't really know the person. And I'm just like, I'm not mad. I don't feel anything in me to be mad, envious, jealous, hate.
You shouldn't be. I mean, don't
but
let that.
But it's like, I don't know. I just don't know on the other side how they view it.
They talk about it. They have to talk about it. It had to come up in conversation.
I'm sure maybe it came up like a few times or whatever, but like if I mean consensually, are you open to like feedback?
I am.
Okay.
Please.
If it's something that you're asking about and if something that's on your mind, then it's something that, naturally just as human, you're being a human. People pretend to not be human all the time, pretend that we don't have feelings, right? When you see somebody that you used to date, that you spend time with, and dating someone that you know, it hits different than if it's someone you don't know.
Right.
But in all honesty, should you be mad? No, you shouldn't even look in that direction. If it triggers you, then unfriend them. If it doesn't feel good, get it out of your sight. Don't give it your attention at all. Don't even give it space for it to potentially pop up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, anytime anything triggers me or like not triggers me in a way that is like something I'm already working on.
Right.
That I don't need extra in my life, I'll just unfriend, block, mute, whatever the case is. Like, I'll just completely get it out of my way. Like, it's I understand.
Like, I've bumped into the person like at a grocery store, the female, and I've smiled. I've said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and because that's who I am. Like, I don't ever want it to come off like as if you're not there. You're a human. I see you in full flesh. I'm not gonna put my head down.
It's okay for you to not fuck with it either, though.
Or avoid.
Like, but it's okay for you. You don't have to fuck with it. Like, you can just literally, like, you don't have to be bitter about it. You can just be like, hey, but you don't have to be friends. You can just keep it pushing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's a balance in between that. You don't need to we don't have to be like forcefully okay with anything that we're not okay with. For whatever reason, even if there's 1% of you that's not okay with it, you don't have to have it in your reality at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't. And just reminding yourself, sometimes we need to hear it from other people because we feel like, oh, like, I feel bad. I don't want to unfollow them. I don't want them to make them think that they did so. That's their problem.
And at the end of the day, it's not your problem.
Whatever anyone thinks is not your responsibility.
But back to the ex. There was a friendship there. There was, although the relationship ended, like, I genuinely don't have anything against you, even though you've decided to move on.
What do you benefit out of being friends with this person?
There is no benefit.
So then there's no friendship. And that's the end of that conversation. With that. Yeah. You just got to tell yourself in your head with that, because that's where it gets toxic when you're friends with your exes.
Right.
When you're friends with your exes just because you exes.
So
That's definitely not. Yeah.
I got love for you from afar, and then that's all it is. It's just, I don't hate you. I wish you the very best, but it's gonna have to be from this point, not
From a distance.
Not, right.
Without a doubt. I completely understand that. I completely understand that. Like with my ex, one of my exes, he literally is, I don't know if he's still dating. I don't know, because they're all black, they're out of my vision. Right. But like, whether I'm black, they're black, we all took turns on that. But it's like, he's with the person that he told me not to
worry about.
Yeah. He's with the person that he told me not to worry about. Bro. Like, literally, that he called me insecure and crazy and all this, like when I say dragged, I mean dragged me multiple occasions. And I said, before I even met this girl, I was just like, I don't know what it is about this girl. I'm like, who is this girl on your Instagram? I don't trust her. I don't know why. I don't trust her. I'm like, there's something about her. I just don't. And then it's like, that's a whole other topic to get into, like, with breakups, relationship, whatever. Like, it's just trust the intuition. If it's anything that, and something that I wanna flip the script real quick, because, that people will gravitate towards each other, and that's okay. Right. Maybe that had to happen, and that's okay. If it's happening, I believe in Creator. I believe in Spirit that it is happening.
At least you don't have it like me. Take it from me. I was in a. Put a pause on what you was about to say. Yeah. I just want to make you feel better real quick. I had a friend in high school, right? My best friend, 4 years. My daughter, I ended up having with his high school sweetheart. And we stopped being friends. Well, he stopped being friends with me. And she's my baby mom now. Like, that's my ex now, too. But it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, these times like this, I mean, he wasn't comfortable, I guess, with the whole thing. He didn't block me or anything. He just stopped being friends with me. He stopped responding to my DMs and everything. I'm just like, hey, bro, I mean, I kind of understand where you're coming from now, but it's just like, I understand why you left. But it's like, come on. I don't have hate towards him, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or any animosity. I don't know how he feels about me, and I think I will never find out. It hurt. Not for nothing, like that we're not friends no more, but it's like.
But did you own your like, did you ever take accountability for, like, I kind of see where you would be mad and how you could be mad?
I never, but that's the thing, I never got the chance to speak to him again because he stopped talking to me.
Oh, okay.
I did tell her that, though.
Right.
Like, I'm like, yo, not for nothing, this is uncomfortable. Like,
right.
This whole relationship, the fact that I lost a friend. And even though I found out through her that in reality, he was like backstabbing me and shit. And everything that he did in the relationship with her, like that he did bad, cheating and all that shit, he used to blame it on me. When I wasn't even part of the relationship, like I was just a friend to him at the time, and he used to blame it on me, like, oh, I was with Gene, this and that. I was just like, bro. But I found out through her. But at the end of the day, it's like, now she's family, so I can't really like take her out the picture.
Right.
Like if he wants to. I'm glad he took himself out as opposed to me taking him out, because I feel like it would have been.
That was only a matter of time.
Yeah, it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
One way or another. But I'm just glad I didn't get to the point where I had to do it.
Right.
Because I probably would have went down bad. You know
we're all human. We're all capable of doing things. I feel like all of us at some point, whether we're going to admit it or not, have been that person. Maybe not in that particular situation, but that person where it's like, you've been with somebody that may be someone you knew or a distant friend or even a friend, whatever the case is, like at times, because there's certain circumstances and stuff that happens. Like obviously if that's your MO, then there's something going on there like that, like maybe should be looked at, like maybe a validation thing or whatever the case is. But like sometimes things just happen, right? And the thing is, like, people do what they want to do. So it's like, both parties wanted to do it. It hurts. Does it hurt? Of course, it does hurt.
I know you like, we're all spiritual here, I believe. But I know you believe in soul ties. Like,
yes.
When it comes to, like, people sleeping with each other and stuff.
Yes.
I think it has to do with that.
Yeah.
Like.
What was that? Soul ties?
Soul ties, yeah.
Oh, S-O-U-L.
Yeah.
Soul ties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when you sleep with somebody, you're also sleeping with
everybody that they
type
slept
shit.
with, unless you remove the cords.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so that's where the whole
Intertwine, intermingling, which
Yeah.
that's gonna be a podcast. Like, also stay tuned for real. Like that's one that's been brewing for a while, because that's something I actually studied for a long time. I was working with people, these like people in Brooklyn that are like really well known for working with sacred sexuality. I'm like,
I thought you was about to say David Schwimmer.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what he got to do with this.
No, I have no idea who that is actually. But yeah, but yeah, like I was studying that for a while, where personally the practice in my life, like I went back and I removed every cord from any person that I've ever slept
How do you
with.
remove a cord?
So it involves a meditation.
Might start burning bridges.
It's like it's like essentially like imagine like an umbilical cord like in you, right? When you meditate, you do one person at a time. So you really like think about and you feel where that person's energy is like residing within you. You ever sleep with somebody and then the next day you're like, wow, I feel like shit. And then like the week goes on and you feel like you're like connected to that person more than you ever were. Like you'll think about them at a certain time and they'll text you, or you'll start feeling a certain way, or you'll notice you're doing things that they do a little bit. Like, these are soul ties. These are energetically, like, you're connected with them and you're connected to their web. And most people, like, especially like out here, and I mean, I could probably everywhere, but especially in Staten Island, like, once you get tuned into one of the web, you really plugged into everybody on the island. So it's like, so now, like, naturally, if that doesn't get taken care of, and you just get caught up in it's like uzumaki, like you get caught up in the spiral, and you're just like taken by it. So personally, it's a practice that I thought is really, really important. And for anybody who is interested in that, you can hit me up and I can kind of like either work with you and do that, or
I'm about to hit you up right now.
Well, we could do a session, and in that session, I could teach you how to do it for yourself, so that you can do it from there. Because I like to teach you how to do something so you could do it yourself. You come to me if you really, really need it. But like I don't work in that way where I make you need me. You don't need me. I'm just gonna remind you of things you need for yourself. And like with that, it's been the best, most freeing thing that I did. I did that, and then I was celibate for a year. And I was just like, yo, I don't want nothing. Once I became aware,
I became celibate once in my life, believe it or not. But that was while I was with that girl, my baby mom's. Being the whole situation at hand, I was like, bro, I need to stop having sex. Like it's not for me right now. I was like, there's too much going on. Like, I was just trying to focus on being a better person.
Yeah. No, it's times I feel like it's really important to have time to also know why we have sex. Like, there's a whole other podcast, like, for real. But, like, just to, like, touch base on that and, like, kind of end it off is, like, soul ties are really a thing. Like, at least for me in my life and from my knowledge, from my feelings, like, I've always felt like it's really important. I have a rule of thumb, like, if you aren't okay with waking up and being that person for one day, like even just one day, don't sleep with them. Because that you don't want to walk around with that energy. And also, personally, I'm only comfortable with knowing, like, that the person that I'm intimate with is also doing that work. Although I've gone back on that, like, I have been in that space where it's like I need somebody to at least have the respect that, like, they're aware of their sexual energy. Right. Like, I can't keep on trying to, like, teach people who don't want to be taught about this, Right. So it's like that. No there's force. That. No force. So it's like the ups and downs of learning control issues too. Like, am I trying to control this person by making sure that they're aware of what they're doing? Yeah. Or am I trying to control, like, a situation not dating somebody who isn't aware? Am I limiting, or am I, like, being biased? So I had to go through the ups and downs and the emotions.
And then I feel like in those thoughts, am I overthinking? Like, it becomes overwhelming, like, Yashanti, why are you being, like, such a deep thinker? But it's necessary.
Oh, I am about everything, so it's just not even, like, it's like, I like, sometimes I wish I don't, but also at the same time, that's a part of our medicine, you know what I mean? And something that I will say that is important for anybody that breaks up, get your blood taken. Get your blood taken before and after you have a new sexual partner. It's so important. It's not something that's, like, said enough. before I sleep with anyone, I'm like, when's the last time you got your blood taken? I don't give a fuck how awkward it is. That's important to me.
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't care. Like, if you're offended by that, if you're offended by that, then we ain't sleeping with each other anyway.
Right.
Like, you know?
Right.
And I know it's not cute or aesthetic in the heat in the moment, but you know what else isn't? Something that you can catch, and you might as well just be, like, you know, be prepared, be mindful. And not only that, but then that also goes with soul ties, like it's sexual transmitted demons. You know what I mean? Like,
for real.
It's real out
it's
here.
It's a real thing. Yeah,
be careful with who you lay with. Be careful with who you let touch you, and you know, be aware of your own power and your worthiness and your sacredness. You know, and that doesn't have to look like, you know, your Mother Mary in the Immaculate Conception. You can still have a very thriving sex life and be mindful, you know. So it's just about finding your balance with whatever you need to. Transparency, communication.
All I want is your
that.
transparency.
But yeah, like in conclusion to everything I was saying before, like if it's something that I will say from that previous relationship that I was talking about, and something that I learned from breakups, and one of the most important things I have continuously learned through breakups is to not deny my intuition. Every time I've denied my intuition, the most has been in relationships. That's the biggest piece that, like, you know, wear rose-colored glasses or big denial, you know, of things, or wanting that person to be different or trying to change them even subconsciously. And that's not fair to myself or to them. So it's about, for the lessons that I've learned from breakups and from different exes that I've had, is like to not try to control or change people, to let people do what they want to do because they're going to, no matter what, at some point. And to trust my intuition, to really, really listen to it the first time, because the first time I heard that, you know, many things, especially in that particular, and I was made to kind of be crazy, that I feel like that was a big lesson. Like, I had to learn, like, now anybody could look me dead in my face and be like, you're crazy, you're out of your mind. I'd be like, no, I'm fucking not.
Right.
I'm solid in it. So if it's anything that I really, really learned from that, was how to really trust my intuition. Now it's not just like, oh, I trust my intuition, I try. It's like, no, I hear her loud. Right. Like, that's it. It's like a stomp. And nobody and nothing's gonna come between that. And not about, and it's about that.
Now, did I want some
yeah,
of
go
that?
ahead, go ahead. For real, because breakups, as much as they can hurt, they can also be so liberating. And we wouldn't be where we're at now if we didn't learn. Like, it's like relationships are like boot camp, you know, in a big way. Like, growing up, you go through these different, they're like character boot camp. Oh, are you everything you say you are?
Yeah.
Are you working on all that? That trigger you got, is it still a trigger? Okay, are you going to lose everything, all of your morals? How quick are you going to abandon yourself to people please this person and make them like you? How many things are going to come up in a relationship that wouldn't just come up naturally if you weren't in a relationship because you have no commitment to trying to make someone like you or love you, right? So
people pleasers, I like that. For a long time, I think I was pleasing.
It's a big Libra moon thing, I understand. So it's like,
I'm a Libra Venus, so just imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. That's like, I can't imagine, because Libra, I mean, moon and Venus, but like, yeah, like it's
the home planet, you know. It's like
it's like
me,
very
man.
Venusian. It's like, I love to love what's good. But yeah, no, for real. So I just,
that little voice, just listen.
Just
hold on to it.
You know,
stand
just
on it.
Listen,
right.
Whether it's good, bad, anything in between. Because also something, like, before we get off, something else that's also important to note is, like, just because that's not your one and only, or like always, let me rephrase that. Just because that's not your forever person doesn't mean that you weren't supposed to learn something from them. So sometimes our intuition be like, yeah, but I'm not going to marry this person. I'm not going to be with this person. I'm not going to like have kids with this person. I'm not going to be like whatever it is.
Right.
So we're like, oh, I shouldn't even pursue it. And we end it before it even starts. But then you might be missing a valuable lesson, but also know when to leave.
Right.
No one to leave. When you start feeling yourself not in you anymore, go back home to yourself. Take that time, you know, and separate and go back home to yourself, no matter what no matter what your circumstances or how many binds and ties it may feel like you have to this person, if you are so deserving and so worthy of experiencing a love that's reciprocal, respectful, and nourishing to your soul, to your being. And if it's any less than that, break up.
It doesn't serve you any
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Point,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, if it feels right, naturally. Like I'm making joke out of a heavy situation, but just like it's you'll know, and just listen. Just trust your intuition. Just trust your intuition. Yeah.
Take that leap of faith, man.
Yeah.
Take that first step.
Because it's self-worth.
Yeah.
You need to know that you're worthy to feel.
Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you feel it, you need to move with it. Just.
It's in you for a reason. Like I always say, go. Like it's okay to feel your emotions. I don't want to say act on your emotions immediately because I like to think about it, process it before I act. But it's okay to feel. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to necessarily act on them right then and there, but feel them, understand where they're coming from. Like you said, listen to that voice, and go with it. You can't knock yourself.
And it's a vulnerability too that people aren't ready to put on a table.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's the thing with vulnerability is like everyone wants to be courageous, right? But you can only be courageous if you're vulnerable. Shout out to Brienne Brown.
I watched a movie the other day that said something about courage.
Oh.
It was like courage is not necessary. I think it was the video game I was playing. Courage.
What video game was it?
It Takes Two, I think. I think it has to do with that game.
Mm-hmm.
Courage is not necessarily that you're strong. It's the fact that you're weak and you did something about it. Like you knew you couldn't do it, but you did it. Like you stood up for yourself. Mm. And man, that's all we could really use these days.
Yeah.
Instead of playing tough, there's a difference.
For sure. Well, thank you guys so much. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we close up?
Peace and love, everybody.
Yeah, keep the peace, keep
peace
the love. Until next time, it's been great, guys. Hope this resonated. Y'all need to.
I hope somebody got something good out of this.
Get something out of it.
And if you gotta break up, go ahead and do it right now, and record it if you could.
No,
I want to see it.
Don't be texting like that. Don't be texting like that.
Don't burn that bridge.
If you need to break up, if it's heavy, just work on you. Work on you.
For real.
But listen to that intuition, as Akasha has said. You're not crazy. Don't believe that you're crazy. Just understand what's going on, the root of it. Get to it. If it comes with tears, it's okay. If it comes with anger, it's okay. Just live in it, and you'll get through it. We get through it every time.
Ain't nothing gonna happen. Just go ahead and do it. The worst that can happen, you'll cry a little bit. But you'll get over it.
Your days will get brighter, I promise. Like each day at a time, You know what else the Bible says? And I'm going to leave you with this. Weeping may endure for a night. But you know what come in the morning? Joy.
Oh.
Joy cometh in the morning. So look forward to your joy, your peace, and your happiness. That's all I got.
It's the way she said it for me, honestly. It was all of that. It was the delivery. Well, thank you so much for coming on to this show. I appreciate it. Like this was an incredible show, and I'm looking forward to this was the first time I had 2 people on the show. So it was exciting. It was awesome. You guys did amazing. I also want to take a moment and say shout out to Ariel for this dope shirt that I got in the mail this morning, and I just switched my shirt when I got here.
Fire. What it say?
It says
what the void gave me.
What the void gave me.
The void gave
I don't even know what that means, but I like it.
Like what the void gave me, like how we say like, oh, like even in the relationships, we were talking about how people feed our void, but it's like, well, now it's like the opposite, flip the script, like what the void gave me. The void gave me something too, like it gave me
peace.
An experience, it gave me peace, it gave me an experience to integrate, whatever it could give you, and I just like.
I want a shirt. You're gonna have to get with it.
2 shirts.
T-shirts, please.
All right, I'm gonna send y'all the link. But yeah,
And a bucket hat too, man.
yeah, I know. I'm so sorry you didn't get the. We communicated telepathically this morning with the bucket hats. You know,
I got
And
a bucket.
and we
I got
have
a
the
bucket
pins.
here.
We got the pins too. I got Zuko right here,
It's a cause.
and I got Appa on the back. Zuko is like very much so. Like I was saying earlier, is like a personified like little cartoon version of like every man I've ever dated.
It's the
just like-
mushrooms for me. I love it.
But yeah, I appreciate all of y'all. If you have a Switch, add me on there. I just got it a few days ago. And on an update of last week's episode, birthday party was phenomenal.
It was.
And like shout out to Kenny.
Best vibes ever.
Shout out to Lori. Shout out to all the girls. Shout out to everybody that helped it create such an incredible vibe. Like anime party was lit. Best birthday party I've ever had in my entire life. So thank y'all. And thank y'all for tuning in, and love and appreciate each and every one of you. And stay tuned for next week.